Start to your third season here, Bryant Stratton. Come with some challenges. Talk to me about what your expectations are this year.
Always, you start a new season, you always you have high expectations. I mean, the goal is to win a championship, uh, but I always want to get better than I did the previous year. My first year, we had started out pretty good, had a pretty good program, pretty good year. Last year, we were able to build on that, and I just want to continue that, continue building, continue developing these players and guys, and making them into better players and better men.
And this year has surely come with its fair share of challenges. Um, Obviously, the pandemic cut our season short last year. But talk to me about the unique experience it's been to kind of work through all that this year as it comes to recruiting and practicing. Also, talk to me about the procedures and policies that you and your staff have in place to keep everybody safe.
It's a different time, the pandemic is affecting everybody in the world, from regular people that go to work and athletics all across the country. So it's a learning experience. You learn something new every day. Different schools and different programs, and just different states and cities have different rules in place. So it's you adjust it on the fly. You're just trying to adjust and do the best that you can, and keep everybody safe. With our program here in Buffalo, uh, we had a bunch of things that we're trying to follow to keep everybody safe. As far as practicing with masks on, um, getting tested, every 2 weeks. Sanitizing everything, keeping the basketballs clean. Close down private practices, closed practices for both teams. We're just trying to do everything that we can, that we think is possible to keep everybody safe.
So on the court, obviously you've been able to practice and do it safely. Talk to me about this preseason. You're coming up on less than 2 weeks for your first game. What have you seen that you liked? What do you see that you think you need to improve on? And your expectations 2 weeks away from your first game?
This year, I think we have a lot more talent, on the whole roster from, top to bottom. My first couple years, we were kind of top heavy talent wise, but I think this team, anybody can go out there and contribute positively for the team, which is a plus. You know what I'm saying? You can throw different lineups out there and, still be successful. Um, it's just one of the challenges now is just, scrimmaging and finding different opponents, just to test to see where you are at right now. A lot of schools are starting in January, a lot of schools are starting in November, but they're keeping only for games and no scrimmages and things like that. So it's a different challenge, but it's everybody like that. So it's nobody has an advantage over anybody. So you just got to practice, prepare for the best, and see what happens.
What have you liked that you've seen on the floor so far after the first month of practice?
I think this team has a real good attitude. They want to play basketball. They want to get better. Um, they are. I think they became a much tighter team quicker this year than in the past. Um, Even only returning a few guys, I think the guys have gelled well together, and I think that helps. That helps on the floor. It helps in transitioning from practice and off the court to on the court when they get along so well.
You mentioned only four returners this year, so 14 new players on this roster.
Mhm.
Probably the most new players on a roster you've seen, in your coaching and playing career.
Yeah.
Talk to me about some of the guys maybe have stood out to you in practice. Maybe not only from the new guys, but from the returners as well.
For my guys that returned this year, Tyrell Mitchell has definitely, I think, stepped up a little bit in the leadership role. He's more focused. I think he has picked up his defensive intensity and focus a lot more this year. I mean, we've been to the tournament the last 2 years, and both those trips there we were unsuccessful in reaching our goal. And he's seen what it takes to win on that level. So I think he stepped up more in that leadership role. Devon Ware has came back more aggressive and stronger, more in shape, ready to go to take on a bigger challenge this year. Jason Mixon has came back in great shape. He's ready to go. For my new guys, I think Shaquin Dix has stepped into a big role on his team. He not only plays the point, he plays off the guard. He's a quiet leader out there. Sam, I mean, that's everybody from Sam, Danny, Zeke, Maurice. Everybody has been a positive, been a plus for us this year.
So you're entering your third year of coaching now. So now you're no longer a rookie in the coaching game in terms of a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned in 2 years? And now kind of the training wheels are off, per se. The expectations are a little higher from yourself. You obviously want to win. You want to win the last game of the season. You want that last game to be at the national tournament. So, what do you need? Maybe need to do differently, or what have you learned in your first 2 years that you can apply to this year to utilize all this talent, obviously the best that you can?
What have I learned? That's a very good question. I mean, I learned you can't take no games for granted. You have to try and get your team to what I think we did a good job of this year, as buying in as early as possible onto the team aspect of it. There's no one person that's going to win a game by themselves in a team sport. So just getting the team to try and gel quicker is one of the keys. Take advantage of every opportunity out there, because like last year, the season was cut short. Nobody was able to finish, so you got to cherish those moments, take every advantage of it, work your hardest out there, and leave it all out there on the floor.
And lastly, what briefly, and I'm sure as a coach you could dive into all the X's and O's, but what really needs to change this year? 17 wins, 19 wins, national rankings, national tournament appearances the last 2 years in the program's first 2 years, which is great. But now your goal is national championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your goal is 20 plus wins. Your goal is to quite frankly, to win every game.
Mm-hmm.
So what needs to change, and what do you need to do to take that last leap? Because you've been very close 2 years in a row.
I think one thing that kind of hurt us last year, we let some games slip away. We had games where we had big leads in the first half and weren't able to close them out. So I think one thing that I want to work on and have my team have pride in is competing hard every day, getting better every day. Every drill we want to win, no matter what it is a sprint drill, a shooting drill. Just have a more of a winning attitude. You know what I'm saying? If we win a sprint, we're gonna win the shooting drill. If we win the 5-on-5 competition, whatever, that's gonna translate into a game. Just having a winning environment, and just have that translate into the games, and let all the chips fall where they may.